afternoon, everyone. My name is Eugene. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Procurify, and we are reinventing the ways companies manage their spending. And let me start with how I started. In about 2 years ago, I was studying computer science at the University of British Columbia, and I found myself wanting to be more in terms of the business aspect of a company. I wanted to know how a business operation runs and how to save money for a corporation. So I joined the BCIT Operations Management Program, where they're actually featuring us on the main page right now, and we started a business there. So completely selected at random. I met my two other co-founders who luckily have a background in business, software development myself, and also design, which did really well for us because we had the fundamental tools to build a business. And we were tasked to work on a project for the internal purchasing process of a company. And they faced a lot of problems in the company for like unauthorized spending. Employees would just go out and spend money for no reason. And managers had no idea what was actually being spent, and accountants were really mad at the company for not knowing. So we decided to finish the report and look at solutions out there. And we saw really simple solutions available in the market for consumer finance. So for example, we saw mint.com for consumers. It's super easy to use, cloud-based solution it's starting to take off. But unfortunately, when we looked for solutions for companies, we found very complex software that were built many years ago, and it just didn't work out for them. So it was like this designed for the olden times, where the server rooms and lots of old technologies were key in the corporate enterprise. So this left our company and many others like it very unhappy with the solutions available. So we created Procurify, a very simple, easy-to-use system that allows you to submit an order, get approvals from the company, and also manage the spending easily. So what we do is we create very simple software, easy to use for the user. You can just file an expense right after you buy something. And for managers, you can easily see everything that you need to do in the company. So you can put your approvals, denials, and just see exactly what your employees are spending their money on before the fact that you spend the money. And for the controllers who needed to see and control everything that was going through the company, they can set budgets through an easy-to-use system. And we'll be integrating with different accounting systems down the road. So we have very simple pricing. We saw that old systems were very costly. We wanted to make it so it's very effective for enterprises to use. And we have a team that's very passionate about software with experience in enterprise software development, business development, and sales. And in last year, we entered the Grow Lab Accelerator. They're actually down by the accelerator tents. Do check them out. They're a wonderful accelerator. And since then, we graduated and launched this year in January. And we secured funding from Mark Cuban, and he's an active investor, and we get advice from him every week. And also the Business Development Bank of Canada. So, for example, in a world where there's simple solutions for email, such as Gmail for email, FreshBooks, and Wave for accounting, we're aiming to create Procurify as the #1 tool to help companies manage their spending. And I'm happy to announce that we have secured a partnership with Staples, who will be putting their whole Staples Advantage catalog within Procurify. And also, we're going to be partners with Sage, and we'll be at the Sage Summit in Washington, D.C. in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
But those companies are pretty entrenched with their purchasing systems, the things that they have now. How are you going to go to market with those kinds of, to target those kinds of customers? What's your strategy there?
Sure. So we found that most of the companies we target are in the 50 to 100 plus employee range, and they don't have the resources to go out and buy those systems that cost like multi-million dollars or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to implement. So we created simple software, very easy to use, and it's cost effective for them.
So your target's probably an SMB, and you are going to go directly to them, direct marketing to reach them?
Correct, yeah. We actually secured a lot of inbound customers without much marketing from our part.
Great, excellent.
Hey everyone, I'm LP. I'm the CEO of Bossbud. Bossbud is the Expedia for the bus world. So basically we're a travel startup and we sell bus tickets online. So about a year and a half ago I was on a trip in South America and went to about 5 countries, 50 cities, and basically didn't have one single good booking experience for a bus ticket. So I decided, there was all these hurdles I need to go through every time, so I decided to do something about it. Basically, I realized that booking intercity bus travel online was really, really complicated, and there was a huge disconnect between the traveler on one end and the bus company on the other end. So currently, this is what I would do on my trip. I would whip out my Lonely Planet guide and go through and try to find a timetable and maybe a bus company or a bus station location Or maybe I would take it online and use Google or TripAdvisor or Lonely Planet and try to find a company that way. I would wind up on a bus website, which was really, really average design. Maybe the checkout was broken. It was a pretty bad experience. So I would just wind up actually queuing physically at the bus station. Maybe I would go there once or twice to first check the schedule, then buy the ticket, then leave. So it was a lot of hassling. So basically, I realized also that bus companies had problems. On one end, they had to build their front end, their website, and also on the back end, they had to build some pretty sophisticated software just to make sure that they can manage all the inventory and the sales. And they're basically bus operators. They're not IT experts. So basically, this resulted in average websites and basically no mobile apps at all. And they had only ad hoc marketing abilities for different pockets of travelers. So basically, we decided to build a centralized bus marketplace that would connect the travelers and the bus companies together. So that on one hand, you have the traveler maybe from Germany going to the World Cup, and she could actually buy a ticket in German in the euro currency even before she leaves, and just show up to the bus the day of. And this is what we've built so far. We have the website and the mobile app. You basically type point A, point B, and you can have all the different bus companies with the departure times, the durations, all the information that you would expect. Currently, it's 4,000 cities in 66 countries, so if you're traveling this summer anywhere, it's probably going to be useful for you. And available in 10 languages and 15 currencies, because this isn't a travel startup, so international is very important for us. Our audience is growing a lot. We're covering about 10,000 routes worldwide. About 90 countries have visitors coming to the site every month. 30% of all of our user base is in Brazil. 70% are tourists, so people looking for a destination outside of their country. And this is important because most of the bus companies usually don't have access to this audience at all. And we're having a pretty nice growth month over month of our audience. In terms of market, it's a huge market. It's about 1% of US GDP, which is massive. It represents about 250 million tickets sold every year just for the schedule routes, like the Greyhounds of the world, and just in the United States. And we know that Mexico and Brazil are bigger, and that's where we're focusing right now. It's also 85 million searches every month, so we know that people are actually looking for this stuff in Google and not finding the answer and the information that they're looking for. The business model is pretty simple. It's pay for performance. When we sell a seat for the bus company, we take a small commission, and that's it. So bus companies have been flocking to us because we're selling extra seats for them and making them revenue. There's also a data play. You probably saw that Google bought ITA for $700 million last year. They basically were aggregating all of the airline data. We're doing exactly the same thing for the bus industry, which is comparable size. This is, last but not least, this is our team. We'll be about 25 people this summer. We just raised $1.5 million from Innovia and Real Ventures and a great group of angels. And we're also hiring, so if you're in the room and looking for a summer internship, just come and see me. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I can at least get one question. So it sounds like you're trying to be the saver for the bus industry, which is a big aggregation play, and that's just a race for time. Whoever gets there first really is going to own that market. There are a couple of other players in the space. What are you doing to sort of build speed behind what you're doing so that you can be the one who gets there first?
I think we're the only company who's focused on doing it internationally. So really, if you're a tourist, wherever you want to go, will be in that country. There's a few regional aggregators in different countries. Like there was Redbus in India, which got bought out last month for about 150 million, just focused on India. So basically local market play. We're really focused on the tourist market, so slightly a different market.
Okay, great, very good. Well, good luck to you.
Thanks so much.
It's a race, and I hope you win.
All right, we'll run fast.
Okay,
Thank
there
you.
you go.
SchoolCloudMe is an idea that came about when my kids started going to preschool. And I realized that we're living surrounded by technology and all these cool tools and applications. But when it comes to taking care of our kids, we still are in the cave ages. We're relying on paper, we're relying on Excel, our preschool enrollments. People are taking care of these kids at home and in schools. They really don't have the technology help that we have in every other walk of life. For example, 8 out of 10 schools in Dubai are using Facebook to publicly post kids' pictures. So anyone can look at these pictures. You can look at them. You can look at them. You don't know who these kids are, but you can look at these pictures. And the reason being that school doesn't have a school portal, any kind of medium of sharing the kids' pictures privately with just the parents. Communication with the parents. Red shirt day, blue shirt day, early dismissal is all coming through either emails or notes in the bag or just like notes on the notice boards, but there's no one live calendar that would tell a parent tomorrow is that day. It's very simple. Again, it's not rocket science. It just doesn't exist in a preschool world. Invoicing, still being done on paper, in Excel. So my question was why? I mean, it's not rocket science. It's happening all around you. Why is it that this industry doesn't have the technology help? So we went to investors, and the answer was that it just doesn't have enough money. It's just not a big market. So as an ERP consultant, as a mom, and as somebody who wanted to change something, I said it's not always about money. We're still going to do it. So what we did was that we launched a minimum viable product just to see people's reaction. And it's a one-stop shop, secured content sharing, which is pictures, class activities, effective communication, which is a live calendar with reminders, online enrollment, and class profitability for the owner as well. So the owner actually gets something out of it too, because he is the person who's going to make the decision. And within just 2 months, we were out on the door and we were selling. And this is the first minimum viable product. This is like a class page. And a teacher is sharing, communicating with the parents using this page. She's putting up the dates to look at, some activities, some videos. It's all secured. It's not on Facebook. It's all secured by the cloud. An effective live calendar. We're using Twilio for SMS reminders as well. If it's a noon dismissal, an early dismissal, anything important that a parent should know right away, you can also send SMS in addition to a live calendar that you can always look at on your phone or anywhere else. And some analytics for the owners as well. So they see that how much profit are they making per class, or what's the expenses for every class. So it's a complete ERP system for running a preschool. The response, the first year target market was 2.4 million. We're just focusing local on preschools in Dubai and Qatar. We're getting a lot of attention from Asia, from Europe, from Latin America. But we have an MVP right now, so we want to take our growing at a rate that we can handle it. So we're slowly trying to focus one market at a time. We sold the product, we launched the product in March, and we sold for 2 months, and we had an overwhelming response. We had a 17 nursery Montessori lineup who wanted to go live with it. Basically because the parents liked the idea. The parents didn't like that the kids' pictures were everywhere else, and there was no reminders and everything. So, so we couldn't sell anymore because we were overwhelmed with the response. And we launched our ad on Facebook, and in just 1 month, we had 25,000 likes. We ran out of our marketing budget after that. We were not expecting that kind of response. So our team has a lot of consultants, ERP consultants, and all those accountants, and a lot of people who can take care of the ERP systems. And we're all around the world. We're in USA, UK, and Middle East, so we're all around the world because we're a cloud-based company, so we can do that. And that's it. Thank you.
Here's a question. You've got a lot of traction. Obviously, there's a lot of interest, and given that it's such a fractured market, I think that's pretty impressive. But what you're doing, while clearly valuable, how defensible is it? If another group of quick developers came along and started to build this product, what can you do to stay out in front of them, or how can you protect your IP so that you secure your market position?
Well, the first thing is that I'm a mom, and I sit with all these...
And you don't mess with moms.
Yeah.
Is the subtext there. Okay.
And all these people who are running the schools, I'm surrounded by them. I sat with them. What do you want? How are you doing it? Because they've been doing it for years. There's a reason behind why they're running a preschool the way they are. And I'm just trying to automate things for them. I'm not trying to change their ways, the way they're taking care of kids, the way they are taking care of the allergies, the vaccination. Totally cool. I'm just automating it for you.
So you have a good relationship with your customer, and that's
Right.
valuable. Is there anything that you can patent or protect, or anything there that gives you a stake in the market?
We're looking at like class profitability and all those kind of things, because existing ERP systems are not catered for a preschool kind of an environment. So there's nothing in the market that would say class profitability for a preschool, where a child is coming from morning to noon or noon to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's very different from a school enrollment, It's a different world.
All right, well, I'm getting the look from backstage that says it's time to keep moving.
Okay,
Thank you very much, sir, and good luck to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Lukianchuk, and I'm the Master Chief Executive Officer of Willow For Food. Willow For Food is gaming for money. We make fast-action 3D games that you can play right in your web browser for actual cash and prizes. That's right. We let you play video games for money. And what a market it is. There's over 500 million people in this world who play video games over an hour every single day. And there's over 183 million of them just south of the border in the US alone. That's a $14 billion market. But hey, we got to start somewhere, and our beachhead market are those 40 million competitive gamers who are basically trying to make money with their skills today. These are the people who will meticulously pack up their PCs, drive halfway across the country, and show up at a venue like this. 24 hours later, in a Red Bull hangover, they might come out on top. But what do they win? Maybe a few $1,000, maybe a credit card, but the other 99% people go home with just a credit card bill and a really bad feeling in their head. Sure, they can try and join Major League Gaming, but why don't they just try out for the NHL? They've got about the same chance, but maybe not as good a fallback. Sure, they can use other things like Virgin Gaming, but let's focus on console games. You need to go to the website, set up a match, go to your PC, or go to your console, play, go back, and it's a lot of back and forth. These gamers, they've got the skills to pay the bills, but the problem is they don't have anywhere to go to put their money where their mouth is, and that's where we come in, because Willow For Food is gaming for money. Now, our first game, Dodgebots, is a quick, fast-action 3D game where up to 15 players join for $1, and the top 5 people split the pot. How do we make money? Well, we sell virtual goods like costumes and accessories, in-game upgrades to make your characters a little skinnier, faster, harder to hit, as well as in-game resurrections, so that when you die in the game, you can actually buy back in just like putting a quarter in the arcade machine. Now, we keep 20% of all the resurrection fees, and the other 80% goes into the pot, so the pot just keeps growing, and the game just gets more and more exciting. Now, since we launched this game in March, we've seen a bit of traction. We've grown to 1,900 users, we've had over 2,400 hours of gameplay, we've had a few cash tournaments, and we've learned a lot of things. We actually ran a free roll competition for about 2.5 months, so Monday to Friday, 7 to 10 p.m., we would give away $100 to the top 10 players. And we found that we had a good hardcore group of 25 to 50 people who would come out every single night, whether they were making money or not. And we realized, okay, people are liking this game, but why isn't it growing? We found that there was a lot of friction points, and we realized we need to go back, take all this feedback we've discovered, and rebuild the game, and get rid of this, and turn our straw into a real funnel. So basically what we've been doing for the last 3 months is refactoring the code, getting rid of a lot of the technical debt, taking into account all these things that the customers have come to us and said, you know, this is a big problem. We've got AI in the game, so you can play it anytime, anywhere. You can sign up. You can play the game without even signing up now. There's a tutorial mode. We built it so we can embed it in every different website. And as well, we're talking with some of our biggest competitors about putting our game on their website. Now, we can make up to $1.80 per user per game with as many games going on as we want at a time. And the games are only about 10 minutes in length. So we're looking to relaunch actually at the end of this month. But Dodgebots is just our proof point. Our true scalable solution is building an API so that other game developers can build on top of our platform and find a new way to monetize for their users. So to tell you a bit about the team, I'm the sole founder, University of Waterloo computer science grad. I've been at this for a few years now, really working hard at it. The start of last year, I raised my first amount of angel investing. Shortly after, I came second place at the Launchpad 50K pitch competition, as well as snagging the People's Choice Award. Shortly after that, I got into the first cohort of the Communitech Hyperdrive Accelerator, and through the course of that, we managed to land an article mention in the New York Times. We raised some money from BDC at the end. We won first place in the Startup Smackdown. We was guest judged by Brad Feld. We had an interview with YC, and we managed to raise a bit more money and launch. During that process, we grew from 1 to 7 people, and now we're down to 6, as you can see, our beautiful Dodgebots. We got some great developers on the team. We've got an artist who does a lot of work for a lot of big people, including the webcomic for CNET. We got one of the top security guys at McAfee, making sure that what we do is secure and unhackable. And we're really starting to hit our stride. And what we're looking for is $100,000 to keep this pwn train moving forward through the end of the year as we release, start building up that curve, building that traction, and being able to raise a larger round. Like I said, we're going to re-release at the end of this month. We've got this $14 billion market in the US alone. And we want to give gamers a way to tell their parents, no, Mom, I haven't been wasting my life. I have a job now, and it's playing video games.
But I need to ask you something a little bit more serious, and that's just sort of, given what you've laid out for us, and I see your fundraising as an obstacle, but what is the biggest obstacle to your success right now?
I'd say the biggest obstacle to our success is basically just making sure we have enough runway to do it right. I mean, we spent a lot of time developing it. I started on this about 3 years ago. I spent my life savings, maxed out my credit cards. We made a prototype, and about a month before I went bankrupt, we managed to raise our first round. We realized the technology we used was bad. So we restarted the process from scratch, and over the course of a year, we managed to build up, release beta, release the actual game, and we actually started getting customers using it. We got all this feedback, a bit of traction, and we started realizing, okay, we've got something, but people are just not flocking in because there's too many barriers. So we really just need to fix these few issues, push it out,
Barriers
and see
is
it grow.
user experience.
User experience barriers, right? Like, I mean, if there's no one online, then you can't play a game because it's a chicken and egg thing. So we said, okay, we need an AI so you can play no matter what. People don't want to sign up. Let's let them just, there's no excuse for them to not come to our site, click once, and be in the game. And we built that kind of experience. So we've found these mistakes, we're rectifying them, and we need to make sure that we have enough cash to keep our stride going, push it out, and really give it the chance it deserves.
Okay, Ivan, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck to you.
Greengar is an international startup company. Over the last 5 years, we have over $14 million on iOS, Mac, and Android App Store. We came to 500 Startups 3 months ago, and we know 2 things. So one, users love our app. We have 3 different applications that have over $2 million each. We have 500,000 people actively using our app monthly worldwide. And they constantly asking us for more. And the second, and our whiteboard application is the #1 productivity application on the #1 productivity application on App Store for 8 months straight. Not only that, it has over 8 million downloads up to date. We have over 39,000 5-star reviews, and the second thing that we know for sure, we are effective and efficient. We have by the end of this year, we're gonna accumulate out the revenue by $1 million. My name is Thuy. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Greengar. Together with my co-founder Elliot Lee and our lead developer Long from Vietnam. And today we proudly present with you the next revolution of visual communication and collaboration. Our whiteboard application have been the #1 collaborative drawing application on the App Store. People love our product. They're using it every day, and they write us a lot of requests. We want to have more function. We want to have more feature. We love you, but we hate you as well. So in the last 3 months, we did something crazy. We rebuilt the most popular collaborative drawing application on the App Store. And today, I'm proudly present with you the brand new whiteboard. The new whiteboard not only collaborate locally, but also globally. Not only 2 devices, but over 100 devices. And not only that, we enhanced at least 15 different features that have been most requested by our users so far in the last 4 years. And who are using whiteboard? Scott, he's a World Guinness record holder. He has been using our app to go around the world and inspire hundreds of thousands of people with teach them how to do the matrix in their head. And that is one of the uses in the business. And not only that, the second case is, we had Kate, this is Khan. She has been using this application to collaborate with her friend and her family at home, and even her grandparents from out of the state. And the third user is Didi Simon, our designer from Vietnam. When I work with him on the new design concept, sometimes we passion lend our advisor. And this is how we have been building not only the whiteboard, the new whiteboard application, but we're building this slide deck as well. And iPad is at the beginning. We believe that the tablet is going to transform the entire education and business collaboration. And we are building the Android, iPhone web version, and at the major update, the most important update of our company in the last 5 years. And let me show you a very quick demo. This is a very rough beta demo that we have that we recorded in 500 Startups a couple of days ago. We're raising 300,000, and this will help us to rebuild our iPhone, Android, and also the web version. We also aiming for Windows Phone and BlackBerry. So this is Thuy, and my company Greengar. We hope to talk with more people who partner in Canada and also investors who can help us to lead this business, awesome business to the next level. Thank you.
So I think a company like yours that starts out maybe as an app company or perceived as an app company with a series of apps might seem to be structured like a hits business, right? You have to do the next app and the next app and get the downloads. But it seems like there's a bigger vision here, and I just want to ask you, what does your company look like in 5 years? How big does this company get focused on video, shared collaboration?
So I think with motor startup, it takes a while for us to figure out what exactly we want to do. Because when you build app and you keep hitting that app on the app store, it's very hard for us to make a decision. But we finally figure out exactly what we want to do in the next 5 years. So in the next 5 years, we want to revolution the real-time collaboration on a mobile device. So we had the advantage of the mobile first, as well as how our users have loved our product. So it's not only streaming between whatever the content, you can hold a meeting from Canada to US, from Canada to China, and not only on the mobile device, but the section that you have is also on web, and it's going to be streaming. So whether that's education content or business content, we just want to be the platform when people think about real-time collaboration, it's going to be us.
Excellent. Well, good luck to you. Thank you very much for your pitch today.
So I figured I'd make things interesting today and tell you about Speek using lyrics from the Notorious B.I.G. to tell our story. So here it goes. Before I get into it, my name is Boice. I'm the co-founder of Speek. We're based in Washington, D.C. I love rap music. I hate conference calls. So what is Speek? Speek is a new way of doing conference calls. Everyone's done a conference call. You dial a phone number, you dial a PIN, there's annoying hold music. You never know who's on the line. You hear these annoying beeps as they join. Speek fixes all that. Instead of a dial-in, we give you a simple link, like speak.com/Danny, for example, that you can then share with everybody in your calendar invite. They go there, they join your call. You can do it from any device, makes it a single button click. We've raised $3 million to date, had lots of users, lots of minutes. We're doubling every 2 months in size, pretty much every key metric. So now the biggie part. This is the fun part. So it was all a dream. Like any good startup, we started off with beers and cocktail napkins and a bunch of ideas. So the idea for Speek was born out of me and my co-founder sitting around talking about how much we hate conference calls. And we decided the best idea we had was, why use a dial-in these days when everything's internet-based? So we came up with this link concept. So being fans of the lean startup, we decided to validate our assumption that people would actually use and wanted a link to do conference calls and actually hated conference calls as much as we did. To make a long story short, we did it, built an MVP, got traction quickly, and moved on. Now came time to raise money. So raising money is hard. We probably had over 100 conversations, heard 90 no's. The 10 yeses were super important. 500 Startups was one of the yeses, luckily, and raised 1.5 million for our seed round, and that's where it all started. And that's where the real execution started. So once you raise money, the microscope suddenly is bigger, and you've got to execute. People are watching you a lot more closely. You suddenly have shareholders. There's a lot more at stake. So you cross that key milestone, but you've got new problems. So execution is really all about people, in my opinion. So we had to hire a lot of people. We had to fire a lot of people, hence this lyric. It's tough. You got to be tough. But I think as of a few months ago, we've actually got our A team. But it's been really a hard, arduous process. It's hard to fire someone, especially when they're your friend. But you need A players to make a startup work. Not just employees that matter, but also the people you surround yourself with. So we also have a very strong group of mentors. We also have a very strong advisory board. Everyone is metrics and data driven. So when we talk to our people, especially our mentors and our advisors, we're usually looking at numbers and looking at our metrics, and they understand them and they can help us break them down. And then having said all that, we've been in every mainstream press, we've raised money, we've had pretty good growth. Things seem to have gone pretty well, but we like to keep ourselves in check and kind of still act like day one. We're still in this old apartment, the four of us around a kitchen table, working. That was our office. We had no money. We're paying for everything ourselves, and just kind of trying to get by and get to the next milestone. So now I'd like to announce two things, kind of as a preview. We just closed our next round of funding, and we're also, and you'll hear that in the news here shortly, and we also are going international. So you'll be able to join a Speek call for free from any device worldwide. And we'll be announcing that after the fundraising announcement. So two kind of sneak previews. You can already join calls from Canada now, so give it a try from any device. So thank you very much. Remember to register.
Thanks, Danny. So really, I mean, it's great to see all the traction. Congratulations on the fundraising. That's obviously a big part of moving forward, and clearly some investors see a lot of promise. I think one of the things I didn't see in your pitch as clearly as I would have liked to is a use case. So tell me, I need to do a conference call. I hate free conference call. What do I do?
Right. So with Speek, you would send, just like right now with freeconferencecall.com, you send a calendar invite around probably using Google Calendar or Outlook. Mm-hmm. In the where field, you stick a phone number and a PIN and possibly another set of digits that people have to dial. Instead, you would stick speek.com/your name, whatever your Speek link is. And all your users, no matter what device they're on, when that calendar pops up to join your call, they click it, it makes it a single click to join the conference call. So no more dialing phone numbers, pins, and it works on any device. So not having to toggle back and forth on your iPhone between the phone number and the pin and the other code and all that good stuff. Plus, there's a visual interface once you're on the call. So you know who's on instead of just hearing beeps and having to ask who just joined.
Cool. Excellent. I'm only supposed to ask one question, but I'm going to ask another one.
Cool.
How do you make money very quickly?
Yep. Freemium model, so just like Dropbox, it's free for up to 5 callers at a time, free to get your Speek link. If you want call recording, more than 5 callers simultaneously, it's $10 a month.
Excellent. Danny, thank you very much. And good
Thank
luck.
you. Thanks.
Today we're presenting Snoobe. It's our first public presentation. We are the Robin Hood of the wireless industry. In 3 seconds, we're Expedia, but for your mobile plan, for your smartphone. What is the problem we're trying to solve? The problem we're solving is that approximately 75% of everybody who has a smartphone is on the wrong plan, which means that they're paying extras or that they're paying too much and they have unused data and unused minutes. How can you tell if you're on the wrong plan? Well, it's almost impossible. There's hundreds of plans, they change monthly, and they all have different options that are very hard to compare. The solution from Snoobe is a mobile app that, when one click, which is how much data do you need, will go through your complete call history for the last 3 months and run hundreds of simulations from all the different carriers and all the public plans out there. And within 5 to 10 seconds, we'll tell you exactly, for your personal usage, what is the best plan for you. Now, that is my suggestion. I used to pay $96. I pay $45 now and got a brand new phone out of it. And within a few seconds, you can say to the closest store to you, when do you want to be contacted to switch, get a brand new plan and a brand new phone. Our first customer, which we've actually monetized, she used to pay $156. And every month, she would bust her plan and just upgrade to the biggest plan yet out there. And she went from $156 to $38 because what she needed was incoming minutes, not outgoing minutes. The market we're trying to address, everybody knows the size of the smartphones out there. What we don't know is the churn rate. The churn rate for the carriers out there is tremendous. Approximately 120 million people every month change plans. And even though they change plans because they're unsatisfied, most of them were still going to end up on the wrong plan. The biggest hit for carriers is every time they lose a customer, it costs them between $400 and $650 to replace them, either in commission or in marketing fees. Snoobe can bring these customers back to the carrier with a higher satisfaction rate because they're going to be on the right plan at a fraction of that cost. How do we monetize? Well, we take these people that are qualified and have expressed interest in changing plans, and we bring them together to the closest store to them, and we sell them as leads. What is the current status of Snoobe? In the last few months, we've validated our business model with over 45 stores covering almost all the brands here in the greater Montreal area. We've pivoted a few times, and now we're confident that we have a model that can scale in multiple countries and bring customers, happy customers, to all the stores out there who are in dire needs of selling plans and phones to customers. We have a great mobile app. We have a great backend that matches customers and stores together within a CRM, and we're ready for international markets. Within a few days, we can input the plans for different countries and replicate our model in other countries like France, Germany, Spain, Mexico, or Brazil. We think we have a great product. We're solving a big problem. Now, the key here is the team that's going to execute on that plan. So we have Thierry, say hi. He's the crazy man who insisted that we can do this within one click and not have something hard and complex where you need to compare your bill or your monthly bill. There's me. I've been in IT for 20 years, but also I've worked a lot in interactive marketing and in video game production so we can bring this viral. Stephane has sold solutions for over 300 carriers worldwide and managed a business unit over $100 million. Advising us to help us bring this internationally, we have Dominique Gatteau, who's raised tens of millions of dollars and was a precursor in the 3D area in the Apple space a few years back. Wheaty Bluestein, who sold solutions to T-Mobile, Orange, and PCS Metro, who's going to help us bring that to the US. Luca is our part-time CFO. We have Mike, and our minutes are up.
Minutes go quickly. Thank you very much. I can see why I would come and use this thing. I would get a better plan offer. I'd go in and have this be a qualified lead. I think I'm live now. Yep. But for you, in your business, how do you retain value of that customer after that initial experience where they get their great deal and then go away from your service?
So obviously in 5 minutes, time is short, but we also have a watchdog that is going to keep you informed if you're still on the right plan, is going to warn you if you're going to bust your plan, and also is going to help you if you're roaming or going out of your service area. And the other great thing that nobody else can provide is also quality of service. Because we can measure antenna signal, even though you might have a good plan and a good price, maybe where you are, that signal sucks, right? So we can combine all these sources of information to make sure that we have a continuous relationship.
So you're continually optimizing my relationship, and that's what I'm paying
And
for.
the best plan for you, in 6 months, maybe somebody else is going to come up with a better plan. And from our beta tests that we have here, we know that especially students, they'll switch for $5, right? If they can save an extra $5, they'll switch. And they also always want to have the latest and the greatest phone.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'm sure we've got lots more questions, but thank you very much for your time on stage. Congratulations. Good luck with your business.
Okay, my name is Jason Bailey. I am the CEO and founder of Leaderly, as you can see up on the board right here. We may have the lamest name you've ever seen in the history of the interwebs, but we still have the most awesome product you have ever seen. So, on the next slide, you can see leaderboards, right? We know these from the 1970s. You're playing Pac-Man, you're playing Donkey Kong, you get the best score, you type in ASS or FUK, and you say to your friends, see that? That's me. And so we are taking that to the next level. There is approximately 600 to 700 games launched in the iOS platform every single day. There's about 3,000 to 5,000 games launched across all of the platforms every day. No slides are ever launched in my experience. And so, so we are addressing that market. And when people put leaderboards into their games, they generally think of them as an add-on, a last-minute thing. Oh, I'm an engineer, and like, hey, throw some leaderboards in there, and then let's get the game out the door. So Leaderly solves for that by creating a simple 15-minute, 20-minute integration, a simple SDK API. You can integrate to this game in 15, 20 minutes. So that sounds great. Here, there's this guy, he's standing up here, he's telling you about some leaderboard system he's built for games. That sounds really awesome. Sign off it. He clearly wins this contest. We can be done here. But no, wait, that's not all. I have more. If I could change the slide, I would show you the next bit. And on this slide, you would see that what we do is create deeper engagement for your games. If you're a game developer, there's a few things that you watch very closely for. Day 1 retention, day 7 retention, and how much revenue you make for users. And so the Leaderly platform allows you to deeply integrate these things quickly and easily. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. These are the things we drive. So this isn't just simply a board or a page, but we create socially relevant leaderboards. Leaderboards that you go to, and currently you see them as like some crazy guy from Hong Kong has 18 billion points, and they're actually demotivating. Our systems are socially relevant, geographically relevant, so I can see that Ray or Carly has a higher score than me, and I want to beat them. And sure, that's helpful, and that's great, but what we really have is a much, much deeper solution. A solution that will, sure, have on the surface, I'm ahead of this guy, I'm behind this guy, that's great, but also a deeper set of analytics for these people. Gamers are much the same. We want to see hard data. I want to know my gold production per day. I want to take a really deep dive and start to see things like, okay, as I progress through the levels, how am I playing this game? And this allows a deep player, a mid to hardcore player, to create meta games in their head of their own. And as a result, better retention rates, better numbers, everybody's happy. So, of course, now, again, you could say, okay, well, that's it. That's great, Jason. Thank you so much for your time. We can wrap this up and just give you the prize now. But no, we're not just free. We don't just cost, sure, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. Hell, one guy earlier today offered me $5,000 a month for said service. But no, we are giving this away for free. And you know what? Fuck you, free. Free's not even good enough. I'm going to pay you to integrate this into your game today. So I'm also the CEO and founder of Eastside Games. It's a mobile social game studio in Vancouver. We have 50 people. Over the last few years, I've actually been quite active in the game industries. I've had large exits. I've literally generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue in the game industry over the last few years. I can pick up the phone, call King.com, makers of Candy Crush, call Supercell, makers of Heyday and Clash of Clans, and say, hey guys, try out my stuff. And being independent game developers like myself, they'll say, hells yeah, I'm going to try your stuff out. So we put it in our own games internally in the studio. Day 1 retention rate. These are the people who come back and play your game tomorrow after having installed it today. We increased that rate by 17%. More importantly, day 7, these are the people who are still playing your game a week after having installed it, increased by 23%. The K factor, that's the people who come to your game and play your game as a result of the social interaction. So I'm inviting my friends, I'm posting things on Facebook. The K factor increased by multiples. But what's really exciting is those highly monetizing whale players, we call them, increased and engaged with the platform 6 times more than the average player. So this platform allows you, I'm not going to stop because I didn't get the first minute and a half of my slides. So we create more engaged players, we better identify those hot players, and we have a partnership with Chartboost, the leader in ad integration and CPI sales. And so the deeper the integration you do with us, the more people are going to come to this page. And the CPI is the cost per installs that people pay for these for players. Because we know most mobile and social game players play 5 to 7 games. So they're playing your game. I can show them other games they might like. And I get paid $3 to $5 for every game for a person I send to that new game. For mid to hardcore players, that can be 11 to 15 people. $11 to $15. So we rev share that with you the more you put in. I have the team to pull this off. And everybody wants to try it. I have already got commitments. Mr. McClure, are you interested?
I have a question.
Yes? You want to see the beginning of my slide deck?
Are you willing to change that shitty name?
That is the shittiest and most awesome name you have ever seen. Statistically proven, the shittier your name, the bigger the exit.
I'm in for 50K and 100K if you change the fucking name.
If I change the name to DMC Inc.
I thought you could go more like
Yeah. All right, we'll think about the name change, but I will take your 50 grand, sir. Anybody else in the audience? I'm passing a hat. You can just make this stopped working. You can, you will not get to see my last slide, just as you did not see my beginning slides. But the last slide says you can make all checks payable to cash. Thank you very much.
You keep that. If we had seen your first slide, what would it have said?
It was just a picture of me with a look of awesome. All of you were in it too, and smiling ear to ear and writing checks. It was a gorgeous picture.
Excellent.
It was in the future.
Well,
Yeah.
props for grace under pressure when the slides don't work. Thank you very much. I'll give you another 5 seconds. Anything else? You get to ask your own question.
Well, how much money are we raising is a key question. And the answer is very little, because we need very little. The great thing about this product is we're going to be able to prove it's a win or a fail in a very short amount of time. We've got the team and the product momentum in place. We're going to know by October, November, this thing's going to be in revenue and is either going to fail and we'll all move on with a big smile on our faces and having learned, or it's going to be in revenue and grow. So as an angel investor, as a small seed investor, this is a great bet because we're going to get there. We don't need $3 million, $5 million, $10 million of checks from fat old white guys in ivory towers. We're going to make this work on a low budget fast.
Excellent. Jason, thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jean-Luc David. I'm the founder of Cardign. And what is Cardign? Well, it uses face recognition to add contacts to your address book. Have you had problems remembering somebody when you meet somebody or remembering their names? Well, this is the app that will help you do that. So I'll tell you a little bit about the backstory of the app. I went to South by Southwest, met a whole bunch of really cool people, got their business cards, went to my hotel room, contacted all these people, and the response rate was only about 10%. Most of the people didn't remember who I was because it's a pretty frantic conference if you've ever been to it. And I really started thinking, this whole thing is really flawed. There's not a good way of, establishing the connection as soon as you meet somebody to just exchange that information. So I started thinking about, business cards. Why do we exchange business cards? It doesn't really make sense to do that. It's a long-standing tradition, but the cards don't really reveal much about the connection and the context as to which you were meeting people. So, of course, I started looking at some of the apps out on the market. And there's technologies like NFC. If you've ever tried NFC on an iPhone, it won't work too well. There's also QR codes, but you have to generate those QR codes to make it work. So there's a lot of people trying to tackle this solution, but most of them are really focused on replicating what a business card does. And so my thought was, how do we really connect with each other? How do we relate to each other? Well, I have a psych background. And if you look at the studies, remembering a person, there's 3 modes of learning. The first one is visual. So most of the world are visual people. What does that mean? You can remember a person's face, but you can't remember their names. And then the second largest group is auditory. So you can remember their names, but you can't remember their faces. So the app I built is called Cardign, and there's 3 main things that it does. The first thing, you can explore and look at all the people who are meeting each other over the network. The second thing is it has an address book that automatically refreshes. So let's say somebody in your contact list has changed jobs. You'll automatically get their latest email address and Twitter handles and so forth. And finally, of course, you can just take a picture of somebody and you'll get their information right back, including their Twitter account, their Facebook, Foursquare, and LinkedIn accounts. So where's the money? How do you make money out of a concept like this? What we've learned in the process of building the app is that the platform is really valuable. So recently, Facebook got acquired by, or Face.com got acquired by Facebook, and it left a huge gap in the facial recognition API market. And I guess the biggest incumbent is Lambda Labs. So what they're doing is kind of an open source project to help fill the gap, but no one's really doing it seriously from a commercializable face recognition API standpoint. And the cool thing is we've already had customers approach us to use our technology. So that's where the direction we're going. And there's definitely a ton of developers out there that are willing and anxious to use that kind of technology. So in terms of projections, we did a whole bunch of projections based on the current market and based on the apps and the developers using the technology. So it looks pretty good. So what's the IP that comes out of this? What's the interesting technology? Well, the first thing is the first version of Cardign. It's cool because you onboard through the system, and then anybody who's a Cardign user you can capture. But the next iteration, what happens is we're going to ingest all the face data from your different profiles so that you can meet anybody on the street and it'll just work. So that database of faces is obviously something very useful. The high scalability cloud API is another thing. And there's a lot of innovation that's happening around the face recognition technology. So in terms of traction, we have over 12,000 users. We were featured 3 times on CNN, and there's a whole bunch of really interesting stats there. And we have our whole timeline of the roadmap of what the different things that we've done. So how do we launch? Well, in terms of the app, there's some clear things like events like South by Southwest that we can launch at. In terms of partnerships, Salesforce, LinkedIn, and Facebook, there's a deep correlation that we can do there. And here's the team. So I'm the primary founder for the app, but I have some really great advisors from LinkedIn, also Cardmunch, Full Contact, and also Dropbox. So we're raising, and thank you.
Great. Thank you, Jean-Luc. So, of course, I can't help noticing that you're wearing Google Glass. You're talking about face recognition. There are a lot of questions about privacy, and people are getting a little weirded out by this. How is that going to affect your ability to get to market and really grow in the market?
So it's a big question that we've been asked many times, as you can imagine.
Damn, not original.
So the first thing is, obviously in the current app, if you download it from the App Store, it's available right now. You have to onboard in order to add your face to the database. So it's a totally thing where you have to volunteer your face in order to be part of it. But the way we consider the future iterations of the app is more like a Google search, except you're not using terms, you're just using a person's face. So the amount of information that's revealed is all public-facing information. It's not really private information. And it's the equivalent of as if you overhear somebody's name and you enter their information in Google, you'll obviously get a certain amount of
So as long as I own my face, essentially, I put it into the database, that's how it will.
Right.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good
Thank
luck
you.
with the business, and we look
Appreciate
forward to
it.
hearing more from you.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Armine Saidi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Wicastr. And what we do is we make it incredibly easy to create engaging wireless experiences anywhere. We want to change the way people have access to content without having to depend on the internet or any apps. We've created a patent-pending software and hardware-based platform that combines 3 elements in order to be able to create localized, rich content distribution networks. It combines our proprietary hardware, software development kit, as well as a cloud-based management system allowing people to have access to their content. You can think of us as the Twilio for the wireless world. Bandwidth congestion has become one of the biggest issues telecommunication companies are having today. Too many users, too many devices per users, and too many demands for data-heavy services is making it so that it's very difficult for these telecommunication companies to provide a seamless experience to their end users. Now, interestingly enough, according to Google, 1 in 3 searches done on our mobile phones is for local intent. So that means 33.3% of the time we're looking for information that is in our immediate surrounding. And this is where we come in. We've developed our technology allowing to have access to content locally as well as services, and still provide access to the internet. But if someone is accessing something that is based locally, they'll be able to have it directly without necessarily having to use their bandwidth. So content and web services are stored inside the device. They are accessible by any Wi-Fi enabled device within proximity. And the experience is done via any browser. So simply log on, connect your browser, and you'll have access to the content. And the content could be anything that you can find on the web. So you can think about it as the internet in a box. So looking back at the ecosystem, what we do is we provide businesses and developers an easy way to deploy hyperlocal wireless broadcasting networks. And we cater to a variety of markets, but mainly consumer markets and enterprise end users. And I'll give you an example of what we're doing presently with Unilever in the UK. We're creating in-store engagement experiences at the point of sale. So they want to be able to communicate, engage their customers, and also be able to incite them to buy something at the point of sales without necessarily having to depend on the internet. The business model is based on the sale or rental of our hardware. We provide a software development kit for free in order to build technology and services on top of what we offer, and also a cloud-based management system that allows you to have access to your content, manage your content, as well as have access to analytics. And it's based on frequency of use. So if you want to have access to real-time information, near real-time, or occasionally, you'll pay a different fee. There's a lot of competition out there when it comes to access points, but what we're building is the next generation smart and flexible access point where you can actually build upon it. The team, we've known each other for about 5 to 7 years. We've each had our own companies, successful, some not. Sharat is in charge of everything that has to do with engineering and manufacturing. He holds 6 patents and 9 patent pending. He's helped build a big company in the LED industry. As for David, he's in charge with everything that has to do with software, both on the front end and back end. And I take care of everything that has to do with business, marketing, operations, so on and so forth. And David and I have had a previous startup together that is in the process of being sold right now. We're presently just finished. We were in an accelerator in the UK called the Internet of Things from Springboard. We just came back last week. Springboard has now become Techstars London, so we're alumni of Techstars. We have clients, we're generating revenue, and what we're doing right now is we're looking to raise some money in order to be able to further develop our platform, have an inventory of Wicastrs. There's a series of pilot projects that we're also working on, and the goal is by the end of the year to be able to have distributed 1,000 Wicastr units and increase our revenue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Armine. So is this an actual unit?
This is an actual unit, yes.
And the customer of that unit is going to be the enterprise that wants to do this distribution. So am I right to think that you're essentially creating the next generation mesh content network?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So what have you learned from the companies that have gone before and have maybe some of them struggled in this space that you're going to be able to overcome as you go out to the market?
Well, one of the key things that we found is companies that have tried to do this in the past on a hardware level did not provide the software development kits allowing to build on top of what was there. So when you buy hardware, you're stuck with more or less what they offer you. So we want to make it more interesting and flexible to be able to, as a programmer or an IT person, to be able to easily deploy any type of service or experience for whatever business you're running.
A quick second question. So your business is going to be based on hardware sales or hardware and services sales?
It's hardware and services sales, but eventually what we want to do is give away the hardware for free and make our money on the cloud-based management system.
Excellent. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for pitching with us today.
Hello, everyone. Can anyone here tell me what this is? It's okay if you don't know, because I certainly didn't. What about this? Does anyone know what that is or why it was built? Who made this? I bet some of you are wondering whether this is a record player. This is actually a drawing machine that uses digital logic to move a pen and turntable in endless permutations. Sounds like a mouthful, right? I'm not here to ask you questions you may or may not be able to answer. But I am here to tell you about high school students that are building some of the coolest things and no one notices. My name is Oscar Pedroso. I'm the founder and CEO of Gradfly. We are propelling genius across the USA, helping science, technology, engineering, and math students showcasing their most groundbreaking projects. Now, these are students that are building really cool things, amazing technical things. They can take something from a nuts and bolts project and 3 weeks later come up with something like this. And for some of you who think for 1 second this is just a little girl playing with her toy, it's actually somebody back where I'm from who's capable of building this and has an engineering skill set and could probably outsmart a lot of people in this tent. I worked in college admissions for 5 years, and I witnessed students building some of the most amazing things, not only in the classrooms and in the science labs, but in their garages and backyards. How do you leverage what these students are working on? So they're getting into really cool schools like MIT, RIT, or the Polytechnic Institution here in Montreal. And once they're in college, building even more fascinating things like sending rovers to Mars or assisting in man's highest freefall. How do you leverage those projects so that students are getting internships and co-op programs at the finest companies in the world? At the moment, this is how students currently showcase their work. Some will go a step further and showcase things on YouTube, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, all those sites. But there really isn't this online hub for these students where they can collaborate with one another and talk about really cool, geeky, and nerdy things. A lot of these students are applying to college. How do they stand out to these institutions? Well, colleges also have a problem. It's an $8 billion college recruiting industry, and there's very limited ways to showcase your work in applications. There are around 6,700 colleges in the USA. A little over 80% identify as STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math. And they want to catch these students early on in high school. So this is where we come in. We allow students to create a portfolio of their most groundbreaking work, whether it's audio, video, embedded content, anything out there that they've already started, they can pull it in one place. You've heard of social networks. We're more of a project network, so that students follow each other's projects. And we've created an algorithm that helps these students get matched to specific college programs. So if everybody in this tent was a robotics student, we'd be getting paired to robust robotics programs around the country. And we're not only interested in showcasing the work, but telling the story behind each project, which very much in line with the theme of the festival is a lot of these students start off with nuts and bolts. Well, what did it take to get to the end stage of that project? So, our business model. We make it free for students. And we do this purposely because we're trying to create a user base, a large user base, and trying to upload as much content as possible. And we go after colleges and universities who are looking for these students because they're very hard to find. We go after institutes of technology, research institutions, even liberal arts colleges that are just realizing how big STEM is. We're going for schools with high acceptance rates who actually compete for these students and that spend an average of $2,200 per enrolled student. What are we selling to them? Targeted leads, a higher quality lead. We're also charging a license so they can use our database to find specific students with skill sets. And we're also doing a little bit of white labeling, building portfolio platform for schools that want to engage their current students, faculty, and alumni. So the team, there are 5 of us. We're a small family. We were once, we came out of Startup Weekend in Rochester last year, and we were finalists there. And we made it all the way to TechCrunch, and we're humbled and honored to be here at Startup Festival. We were all STEM students, so we were needy and geeky ourselves, so we understand what these students are going through. We've spoken to them, their parents, their teachers. I won't spend too much time on our milestones. We recently got funded by the University of Buffalo, an education tech grant for $125,000. Won't spend too much time on that either because I'm running low on time. But our current status, we're currently raising $350K. We've raised $125, as I mentioned, so that we're looking for $225 that we plan to use for website development, conferences, rolling out features as they come. And that's basically it as I'm tying down here. But we're Propelling Genius. We're a platform for STEM students to showcase their most groundbreaking work. We're looking for partners, anyone who's really passionate about the education tech space. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. So as I understand what you're doing, essentially you are creating for science and engineering students what recruiting systems for college athletics do. I mean, there are a lot of platforms for that, going out looking for great sports talent. You're doing the same thing for great engineering talent.
Yes.
So, and your customer is the university.
Right.
How, tell me a little bit more about that business model. What are they paying to be part of this platform?
Sure. So we're trying to be as creative as possible, especially trying to get the first few colleges on board. So actually, most vendors will, I'll give you an example. The University of Rochester buys student lists with 10,000 names. They'll pay $30,000 a year for those names. But the big problem is a lot of those names are not qualitative because they'll apply, but maybe they won't enroll or not even get accepted. So we provide a more higher qualitative match. So we charge per lead. And then we also charge per application that's filled out. So we would charge, let's say, $700 for every student that fills out an application. And then for every student that ends up enrolling, we charge a little over $2,000. And that's something that we're kind of playing with at the moment. But that's just an example of what we're starting out with some of the schools that we're working with right now.
Cool. Excellent. All right, well, we wish you good luck, and we hope that you get many good students landing where they ought to be. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cheryl. I am the founder of Vain Pursuits. So Vain Pursuits is reinventing beauty. We do customized skincare at off-the-shelf prices. So as every young girl comes of age, she goes on this mission to find the perfect skincare. Now, it's often a really long mission, sometimes 10 years, and it's a frustrating adventure in kissing a lot of frogs. Now, there are hundreds of beauty brands launched every year. Their marketing is often deceptive, the products are expensive, and you never know if they're going to work for you until after you try them. So faced with this avalanche of confusion, women resort to word of mouth, they resort to random sampling of products, and also doing a lot of research on the internet. And all this in the hopes of pretty much getting lucky. There's a better way. This is insane, it's a huge problem, and it's a complicated problem. So let me give you an idea of what it takes. So first you have to look at the physical parameters. For example, your skin type and what your skin sensitivities are and your age. There's also the environmental factors, for example, where you live. And do you live and work in an air-conditioned environment, or do you spend 10 hours a day outside in the sun? There are also factors of lifestyle, and these involve things like, are you a high-stress person? Do you have poor sleep and diet habits? All these things affect how your skin looks and feels very strongly. So imagine that you could crunch all of this data and somehow pop out the perfect product customized for you. Well, this is what Vain Pursuits does. We're taking exclusive service, customized skincare products, and making it available to the masses at mass market prices. Now, this is a very different way of buying skincare. Most brands have predetermined lines of stock product, and it's up to the consumer to figure out what brand and what product works for you. But today, the customer is much savvier and much busier, and they're not satisfied with generic products. So beauty is a great industry with loyal customers, and with evolving needs as they move through the different stages of their life. This makes it great for us because we can build deeply interactive relationships with them, rely on their feedback to improve our product development cycles. Now, the beauty industry is a sister industry to fashion, which has recently seen a big boom. And beauty is even better because the products are consumables. They are not trend-driven, and they're extremely, extremely high margin. Beauty is a $330 billion industry. That's the global market spend. US was $66 billion. $3 billion of that was online, which is approximately 4.5%, meaning there's a lot of room to grow. Now, we've been hard at work for the last few months. We have customers doing our small beta, a private beta, who are currently using our platform to tailor products to their needs. Now, what makes us the best team to build this product, to reinvent beauty? Well, I personally have previously built a vertically integrated company in the beauty space. I'm very, very familiar with everything from formulation all the way to fulfillment. I also have deep technical expertise as employee number 1 and founding engineer of CrowdTwist, one of the inaugural Techstars NYC companies. We took it from day 1 to a $6 million Series A and 25 employees. I also built out the Montreal office. So I'm very, very passionate about taking these two interests and areas of expertise and building something that helps people improve their lives. I've surrounded myself with a team of experts in branding, marketing, beauty, and design. And together, we can build something great. So this is Vain Pursuits. We are reinventing beauty. If you are passionate about innovating in beauty and interested in the intersection of big data, beauty, mass customization, and quantified self, I'd love to speak to you.
With a little bit of time you left to ask 2 questions. Okay, the first one is to really understand, you talked about vertical integration. Are you formulating through delivery of the product, or are you using all of the data you're collecting to recommend commercial product?
We are actually formulating products, so we are using the data and using proprietary algorithms in the back end to figure out, to basically mash all that data together, come up with a recommendation, and actually formulate to the customer needs on an individual basis.
Okay, so there's the second question. There are a lot of guys in this room who are probably thinking, who gives a rat's about skincare, right? That's something for somebody else. I really don't understand. Why should the men in this room care about your business?
It is a huge, huge, huge business. I could almost guarantee that every single woman in your life has many beauty products, go to the bathroom, the vanities overflowing with stuff. This is a testament to the constant search and not being able to satisfy this need. There has to be a better way, and now with the technical advances in the last few years, we can solve this problem in a better way than just trial and error and just buying stuff and throwing it away or passing it off to friends. That's what we're doing.
Excellent, great. Cheryl, thank you very much. Good luck, and good luck to your Vain Pursuits.